I only know of one.
Defense attorney Mark Agnifilo made headlines recently when he unexpectedly left a court hearing related to Diddy's case. This surprising move has sparked rumors of potential disagreements within Diddy's legal team. Agnifilo, known for representing high-profile clients, left in the middle of the proceedings, raising questions about what prompted his departure. While it's not unusual for lawyers to step down during cases, this could hint at strategic changes or internal challenges. With Agnifilo out, the rest of Diddy's legal team now faces increased pressure to adjust their strategy for this high-stakes and heavily publicized trial.
Now, you can be a freak and it's not illegal, but you can't force people to do shit. And this is what I'm getting at. When you have a lot of money and you have no accountability and you want to do whatever the fuck you want to do whenever the fuck you want to do it, I think you can go a little bonkers.
You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
I mean, he's complaining to a teenager that you don't really want to hang out with me. Okay, but he didn't do this. Just so you know, he didn't do this. He did not do this. He doesn't have... Oh my God. Look at all that baby oil. He didn't do this. He didn't have all these bottles of baby oil for nothing.
And we'll fight every day until we don't have to fight anymore.
That means when he's out of money.
He's not afraid of the charges. There's nothing that the government...
Okay, that's just dumb. He's not afraid of the charges? Wouldn't you be afraid of the charges? Where are you? You're in fucking Rikers Island. You goddamn well better be afraid. They just executed 2 search warrants. They've got obliterated serial numbers on firearms. They've got videos and baby oil. You know, what he needs is somebody to tell him what the truth is. You are absolutely you're going to prison for the good portion of the rest of your life. I guarantee you, they've offered immunity.
Mark Agnifilo, a highly experienced defense attorney known for representing controversial clients, played an essential role on Diddy's legal team. His background includes significant expertise in cases involving racketeering, trafficking, and white-collar crimes. Agnifilo's reputation was solidified through high-profile defenses, such as representing Keith Raniere in the notorious NXIVM case. His participation highlighted the seriousness of the charges Diddy is facing and the importance of having a top-tier defense, especially given Diddy's fame and the public's intense interest in his history. Agnifilo's presence was a key asset to the defense strategy.
The person behind that request and Diddy's team is defense attorney Mark Agnifilo. If that name is familiar to you, it may be because you've heard it before. He's repped several high-profile defendants, like the NXIVM cult leader Keith Raniere and Roger Ng, a former Goldman Sachs banker convicted of bribery and money laundering. We'll get to those cases in a second, but first, a bit about Agnifilo's history. He received a bachelor's degree in philosophy and political science from Connecticut College in 1986. In 1990, he received his Juris degree from Brooklyn Law School, and while there, even received the American Jurisprudence Award for Outstanding Performance in Trial Advocacy. Starting in 1998, Agnifilo began his work at the U.S. Attorney's Office in the District of New Jersey. There, he worked as the chief of Violent Crime Unit and specialized in cases involving murder, money laundering, extortion, and drug trafficking. During his tenure there, Agnifilo became a nationally recognized expert in sophisticated criminal prosecutions and the RICO statute, the very same statute that Diddy is now charged under. Agnifilo stayed with the U.S. Attorney's Office until 2006, when he began work at the law office of Benjamin Brafman, who, by the way,
legal expert Bruce Rivers highlighted the serious potential consequences Diddy could face. According to Rivers, federal sentencing guidelines for charges like racketeering and trafficking are very severe. If Diddy is convicted, he could be looking at a life sentence, which is not uncommon in federal cases. This trial is much more than a typical celebrity legal issue. It puts Diddy's freedom on the line. Rivers pointed out that in cases involving organized crime, even being linked to a conspiracy can lead to a conviction, adding significant weight to Diddy's legal challenges.
Repped Diddy in his trial regarding the New York nightclub shooting.
Legal expert Bruce Rivers shed light on the serious potential consequences seen Diddy Combs may face. The federal sentencing guidelines for racketeering and trafficking charges are exceptionally strict. If convicted, Diddy could potentially spend the rest of his life in prison, a common outcome in federal cases. This trial goes beyond the typical celebrity legal battle, putting Diddy's freedom at risk. Rivers noted that in cases involving organized crime, even alleged conspiracy can lead to conviction, adding significant gravity to Diddy's legal troubles.
From the freak-offs, Combs, among other things, hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims at times by their hair. And you keep in mind, these victims are going to come in and testify. Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. I don't want to f*** him anymore. Too bad. You're going to f*** him some more. They also got 1,000 bottles of baby oil. They got terabytes and terabytes of videos. Remember I was telling you they got all those electronics? Somebody like this guy wants to preserve that. I guarantee you.
The prosecution's case against Diddy centers on RICO charges, which combine multiple allegations under one organized crime framework. This strategy allows prosecutors to tie together various alleged offenses, such as trafficking and coercion, into a cohesive story of coordinated criminal activity. For Diddy's defense team, this approach poses a major challenge. They must not only address each individual charge but also dismantle the broader claim of an organized scheme. To defend Diddy successfully, his lawyers will need to challenge the idea that these accusations fit under RICO laws, arguing that there is no structured organization behind the alleged action.
Combs will stand trial in May on his sex trafficking charges. A judge at a hearing in Manhattan set the trial date, also discussing a gag order imposed on prosecutors and the defense, telling them not to discuss the case or provide any material about the case to the media, to the public. They contend that the government leaked a damaging piece of evidence potentially against Combs when a videotape from 2016 was played on CNN earlier this year. That video shows Sean Combs and his then girlfriend Cassie in a hotel in Los Angeles. It had been a secret, private for many years, but then it came to the forefront and was played publicly on CNN. The defense contends that that tape was leaked by investigators. Prosecutors say they have no knowledge of any leak, and they refute the allegation that they were involved in any leaks. The judge says he will consider potentially having an evidentiary hearing to get to the bottom of that. That won't happen for some time. First, the defense, and then the prosecution will submit paperwork.
Diddy Combs, also known as Shadidi Coles, is scheduled to go to trial on May 5th for charges of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. A Manhattan federal court judge, Ayon Superin, confirmed the trial date and issued a gag order preventing both the defense and prosecution from discussing the case or sharing evidence with the media or public. This order was put in place after Combs' defense team claimed that the government had leaked crucial evidence, including a previously unseen 2016 video that was shown on CNN. The video reportedly features Combs and his then-girlfriend, Cassie, in a hotel in Los Angeles. While the defense accuses investigators of leaking this footage, prosecutors have denied any involvement.
Be a voyeur that likes to spy on people on his hidden cameras, which are wired in secret places all over his mansions. Little Rod's lawsuit revealed that Mr. Combs had hidden cameras in every single room of his home, including in the bathrooms and shower heads. The evidence revealed that Diddy had recordings of several celebrities and artists engaging in illegal activity. These individuals were recorded without their knowledge and consent. Mr. Combs possesses compromising footage of every person who has attended his freak-off parties, so the entire hip-hop industry could implode before our very eyes as the feds review the evidence. It was revealed that Diddy allegedly has freak-off footage of beyond.
Diddy's legal team has consistently denied all the charges since the investigation started. Lead attorneys Mark Agnifilo and Tenny Gagos have highlighted the absence of solid evidence, arguing that the prosecution's case leans heavily on circumstantial details and attacks on Diddy's character. They believe these points alone are not enough to establish guilt. The defense strategy seems geared toward presenting the case as a battle of credibility, questioning the reliability of witnesses and the validity of the claims. By painting Diddy as an uninvolved bystander rather than an orchestrator, they hope to shape public opinion and potentially sway the jury in his favor.
They say this, but they say this is going our way, not the bail. They say we have them. We got a lot of people who are going to talk and say that this is what Diddy was about, and some people may pass it off as hip-hop culture, but it is a series of felonies and RICO. What do they have wrong?
They did say in court today they've talked to 50 witnesses. We said the same thing. We've been doing a parallel investigation at every single step of the way, talking to every single there's the same kind of universe of people here that he's been around. We're talking to people to show that we have a case. He's fighting. He's innocent, and he's going to be able to show it.
Innocent means he didn't do any of the wrong things. Not guilty means they can't make the case.
He's
right?
innocent.
So you think he did none of these things? He was never present in any of these activities? This wasn't his lifestyle?
But a lifestyle and being present in activities doesn't mean he committed a crime.
Unless those activities and that lifestyle are criminal.
But those activities and the lifestyle is not criminal. What was notable today, what my partner Mark said in court, is they never once said that these women didn't consent to what happened. Now,
Defense attorney Tenny Gagos has pointed to high-profile cases like those of Harvey Weinstein and R. Kelly to illustrate important differences. Unlike those cases, Gagos argues that Diddy's case is missing solid physical evidence. By emphasizing this distinction, Gagos aims to set Diddy's defense apart and highlight that the accusations rely heavily on circumstantial evidence. This strategy seeks to shift attention back to the actual evidence rather than letting public perception shape the narrative.
Raunchy. People were getting high. There were girls swimming topless, young-looking girls that were, not dressed. We moved to another part of the house so that he wouldn't be exposed to what was going on.
In later years, Diddy implemented a curfew for children.
Kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable because this thing turns into something that when y'all get older, y'all don't want comfortable.
I think he's a monster.
This week, Houston-based lawyer Tony Busby says more than 120 people are coming forward with claims Diddy sexually abused them.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15.
Did Diddy assault you in any way?
When you say assault, I don't know the exact definition, but he put his arm around me in an uncomfortable way.
Diddy is now behind bars, facing federal charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. He denies all claims of sexual abuse.
Independent legal experts have weighed in, emphasizing that a conviction could lead to a severe sentence due to the serious nature of the trafficking and RICO charges, along with strict federal sentencing guidelines. They note that the combination of alleged misconduct and organized activity makes this case particularly serious and potentially precedent-setting for high-profile trials. These expert opinions shape public perception and add weight to the prosecution's argument, increasing the pressure on Diddy's defense team. As these analyses gain attention and possibly sway jurors, the challenge for Diddy's lawyers is to effectively counter these influential views and navigate the intense scrutiny surrounding the case.
His career is still very much so an icon and influential figure. So she's just a young girl from Northern California who's gonna believe that he had done something to her like this. So she didn't tell anybody. She did not hire an attorney. All she did was make the police report in the hopes that maybe the police would try to investigate and come up with anything. But she said she kind of felt from the police that they were disregarding what she was saying, even without saying Mr. Combs' name. So she didn't feel any confidence that revealing his name would have done anything.
Sure. I mean, but there's a police report. Yeah. I mean, that fact in of itself is a big deal, because when you're talking about going back in time and talking about these allegations from other alleged victims, there's not a lot of police reports, but you guys actually have one. And is that going to be revealed? Are we going to be able to see it?
Yes, as soon as I file my lawsuit in civil court, I will be attaching the criminal complaint that was made. I'll attach the number so everyone can see that this is a real number and can go to the police department there and request their own copy of that police report that was made back in 2018.
Well, that's going to be a huge deal when it happens, obviously, so we want to follow up on that. Did Mr. Combs have any reaction? Do you know if he was interviewed? I mean, he was named in the police report?
I don't think so. Based on what she said, she really felt that the police were trying to bury this and disregard her claims and not really investigate, which is another reason why a lot of victims don't report these things to the police. We have to address the elephant in the room is that we have victims, especially women, who go to the police, who are typically men, who don't actually investigate these things. They victim blame, they victim shame, and women don't feel safe or even protected to even make these claims because they don't think they'll be taken seriously, nor will they.
The high-profile nature of Diddy's case has drawn significant attention from legal analysts, who emphasize the serious implications of allegations involving misconduct and organized crime, especially in celebrity trials. Experts point out that RICO cases, particularly those involving prominent figures, can set precedents for how the justice system tackles alleged crimes in the entertainment industry. The extensive media coverage, fueled by expert commentary on possible outcomes and defense strategies, adds complexity to both jury selection and courtroom procedures. Finding unbiased jurors is already difficult in such cases, and prolonged media scrutiny can create a pretrial impression of guilt, further shaping public opinion and impacting the defense's approach.
It's important to point this out. When you highlight and you talk about some of the charges that have been leveled against them, and you see some of the stuff that's being said about them. Look at this right here. Former Danity Kane singer Aubrey O'Day writes, "I never thought I would see this day," she told TMZ. "We all buried this inside of us in order to be able to keep going. And not just me, but victims you don't even know yet. We're all processing what that type of vindication can actually feel like now. Every conversation I've had with victims last night has been beyond moving on all levels." That was Aubrey O'Day. You know 50 Cent was going to make sure his voice was heard. Clowning P. Diddy. Taunting him, basically, because he's long taunted P. Diddy for years over the harrowing allegations against him. And what does he say here? This is yesterday, 50 Cent. "Here I am, keeping good company with the Drew Barrymore TV show. And I don't have 1,000 bottles of lube at the house." 50 Cent was referencing the over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and personal lubricants for the freak-offs that the indictment revealed were allegedly found during the raid of Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami.
Legal experts warn that a conviction could lead to a life sentence for Diddy due to the seriousness of the charges against him, which include racketeering, trafficking, and allegations of transporting individuals for prostitution. The trafficking charge alone carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years and could result in life imprisonment. Analysts emphasize that even if the defense raises reasonable doubt regarding individual accusations, they still face significant challenges. RICO charges allow prosecutors to link seemingly unrelated allegations, framing them as part of an organized criminal operation. This tactic complicates the defense's ability to address each incident separately. The combination of expert analysis and public opinion places pressure on the defense to devise innovative strategies to effectively counter the prosecution's narrative. Each aspect of this case may also contribute to larger conversations about accountability in high-profile cases.
More often than not, I mean, what did you say the number?
95% of the time.
They're gonna get you. You're gonna be convicted of something. And that's what Diddy is facing.
Unlimited resources. It is hard to match that if you are a defendant in a case.
But it has been done, as we told you at the beginning of the show.
John DeLorean case.
DeLorean did, so it can be done, but can it be done in this particular case? We said that Diddy has incredible resources that will help, but if the case is as strong as it appears at this point, or at least as the feds have presented it, you would think there's no chance. But maybe they're not presenting exactly what they have at this point?
Well, the thing is, it's usually, in terms of public perception, the strongest.
The government claims Diddy was involved in a criminal enterprise that includes mistreating guests and obstructing justice. Legal analyst El Honey points out that the combination of RICO and trafficking charges creates a significant challenge for the defense, as these charges increase the potential for severe sentencing. Diddy's current detention at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, marks a stark contrast to his previous lifestyle. The MDC is known for its strict conditions, limited freedoms, and austere living arrangements, which can be particularly tough for high-profile detainees. Public interest in Diddy's case remains high, especially due to comparisons with other celebrity trials. This scrutiny adds pressure on his legal team to address the interconnected allegations effectively. Federal guidelines offer little room for plea bargains in trafficking cases, making significant prison time likely if he is convicted. The upcoming trial will test Diddy's defense against federal prosecutors, especially in a high-profile context where public perception often diverges from legal realities. Given the stringent federal sentencing guidelines for RICO and trafficking charges, Diddy could face decades in prison if convicted. Legal experts highlight the rigidity of these guidelines, which allow little leniency in organized crime cases. To lessen the severity of potential penalties, Diddy's defense must thoroughly dismantle each charge and counter the narrative of organized wrongdoing.